There we go. Guys, I have been the biggest proponent of lowballing sellers since day one. And I'm so excited for today because we're talking about how to lowball people, how to lowball sellers. And the first thing I want to say about this, you don't lowball people because you're a mean, evil person. But the reason you lowball is because a seller will do something what I call highballing you. And no one ever thinks about that as an evil thing, but I really do. So you got to remember it's in the seller's best interest to get their price and for the highest amount possible, and it's in your interest to get it for the lowest price possible. So if the seller is trying to highball you and try to sell you their deal for a stupid high price, it only makes sense for you to give a stupid low price. So in the medium, we have a happy win-win and everybody is happy. The problem is so many wholesalers, they just try to appease a seller who wants too much and they're too scared to lowball and they end up not getting a good deal. And so we're talking about how to lowball sellers, which I think is the most ethical thing you can do.
Guys, I don't think it's ethical.
It's
I
not.
don't, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it's ethical. I just think it works.
Have you
I
have you
don't
ever
think it's
watched the
I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, but I'm not like, you know what? This is the face of ethics. I'm just thinking like I can. I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel good about it. I'm thinking I can. Yeah, guys, here's the thing. If you call 100 people who have houses for sale, there's gonna be a few of them that are like really, really like ready to get it done. Here's the thing, guys. You know how like your mood changes throughout the day like drastically? I don't know if that's like just a me thing, but when I wake up, there's like no thoughts. Like you wake up and then something occurs to you and it's either positive or negative and it kind of shapes the outcome of your day. And if you have more activities throughout your day, those are other opportunities to change the way that you feel. Guys, if you have a house that is for sale, um you got to think these are like throughout your day, your mental landscape of your day, that house being for sale is going to be something that your brain continues to bring up throughout your day, and these are it's going to continue to be this mental pothole that you step into. Sometimes you're going to feel like, oh, I got something really good, I got something really good and I need top price for it, and then other times you're going to be like, what's going on, like what, why isn't this house selling? Like what's happening? Why does nobody want my property? I should just get it done. And if you were to call somebody up during the dip of I just need to get this thing done. I really just need to get this thing done. They're going to say yes to your offer, which is why people say time kills all deals because this too shall pass. You go into the dip of, oh man, why is life so hard? I really need this money. I need to get this house sold. You're gonna be into that dip for like maybe a couple hours or so, and then it's gonna be like, all right, I've got a good house. People are gonna make offers on this. I'm optimistic. So the whole point of lowballing somebody, guys, is, most people are going to say no, but you're going to catch that person who just really needs to get it done right here, right now, and they're going to say yes. As to whether or not I feel good about it, I don't necessarily feel bad about it. I don't necessarily feel good about it. I feel neutral about it. The only thing that I can say is that it works. It works. I don't want it to work, guys, but it works. That's all I have to say.
Have you ever do you know the Young Turks on YouTube?
That's a really familiar name, but no, I don't think so.
It's like this left-wing political YouTube channel. It's got like 5, 6 million followers or whatever. It's like they're pretty big. They did a whole video, I think got like 500,000 views of just reacting to me and Rick talking about lowballing like 3 years ago. And we had the most insane press ever on it. Like all these people saying, "Oh, you're terrible," blah 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 blah. And the funniest part was like 10% of the people are like, "Well, there's a reason they're lowballing. Maybe because they're not evil people, but maybe it's because they make money doing it." And the Young Turks, they did a very specific way they cut it, where we like lowball to make a ton of money. They would cut out make a ton of money at the end of every single time they reacted to us saying it, and it's so funny. But the thing is, everyone hates someone who lowball them when it comes to a house. They lose their mind. But when they go trade in a car, they'll just automatically take whatever the guy says. No question, whatever, perfect. I'm happy. I don't want to deal with this car.
I
But
got
when I,
lowballed. I got lowballed at the Apple store this weekend, and I just ate it. I just ate it. I had a 2023 MacBook Air with an M3 chip in it, and you know how much they gave me for it?
Probably 300.
570.
Ooh.
I bought that
Oh,
thing for like
2023.
I bought that thing for like $1,400 just like very recently and they gave me 570, but I just ate it. I don't feel I don't feel like I'm doing a bad thing when I lowball a seller. It's all about how you lowball a seller. If you call somebody like guys, let me put it this way. If you call somebody up and you just immediately off the bat offer them 70, 80K below their list price, they're gonna have a pretty adverse reaction to that. Now, I think before I even get into this, it's important to note that when I lowball a seller, it's known, but when Zach lowballs a seller, it might not be known. And
Hmm.
the reason is because Zach goes off market and I go on market.
True.
So, so here's the thing, guys. If you're on market, the price is the price. You know what the house is worth. All right, but if you're off market, well, I suppose you could run into an Zach, I gotta ask, if you're doing off-market real estate and somebody doesn't know what the value of their house is and you just offer them way below their asking price and they accept it, not knowing what the value of their house is, not necessarily out of distress or something's going on or probate, it's just I don't know what my house is worth. You make that offer and they accept that offer. Does that cause an ethical dilemma for you? I'm curious.
So in the basically 9 years of wholesaling real estate, I've only had two sellers out of thousands of deals where the person legitimately did not know the value of their house. One was an old lady in Titusville, Florida, and this was a house that her brother lived in for 75 years. It was the most disgusting house I've ever seen. One of the most disgusting houses. And it was just a hoarder's house, and she had no idea because she doesn't understand hoarder's houses, things like that. And it was a mess. Now, I gave her what I thought would be a good deal, and I ended up making a lot of money on it. But like, there's a lot of risk when it comes to buying a hoarder's house like that, especially cracked pools, stuff like that. Now, I had another deal where it was a 95-year-old lady. I had no idea what my house was worth. I bought this thing in 1964. And I'm like, well, you're so sweet. What I'm going to do is I would like to buy this for around this price. But what I'm going to do is let's just shake hands today and I'll come back tomorrow. And you need to bring your son and your grandson, who's in his 50s. Your grandson's in his 50s. Think about that for a second. And we're all going to talk together. And so usually if somebody has no idea, everybody under the age of like 80 knows the value of their house. Everyone can go on Zillow or ask their mom or ask their like aunt or uncle or nephew. It's usually when you're like 80, 90, 100, you don't know. And in that case, I talk to the family members and we all come to agreement.
Guys, I do on like okay, chat. I know how this looks. This last one says so you're taking advantage of old ladies blocked. Okay,
No, I
hold on.
if it's an
Well,
older person, I bring in their family. I say, hey, I'm not going to go buy this lady's house. She's 80. I want you guys to all be in an agreement.
dude, I go on market, guys. I go on market. I've never once dealt with that situation. I go on market. Hey, I know what you're thinking. I do this on market, and because I do this on market, I only talk to like 35-year-old bleach blonde female realtors. Like that's 90% of the I've never once encountered like an ancient realtor. They just stopped working. Realtors stop working at like 60 or something. Hey, okay. Just think what you want about that strategy. I'll just let you know. When I go on market, I'm talking to the representation. So every single time I'm talking to somebody who vets me. They have to figure
Mm.
out if I'm like a good fit for their seller. And you bet your ass I still lowball them. I still lowball them, but I would say that's a good tactic.
No,
If
if they're
you're
old, you don't buy it from them. You make sure the whole family is in agreement before you even do anything. Because
okay,
there's a lot of rules. Like an older person going to sue you, say, hey, I had no idea. He took advantage of me. And I'd be like, well, the son agreed to it, you agreed to it, and then the grandson also agreed to it, and multiple family members. I don't buy a house
okay.
from anyone over the age of 60 without the whole family's consent. Because,
Really? My dad, dude, that's funny because my dad is like 62, 63. But if you talk to him on the phone, like he's gonna give you a hard time. Like
oh
he's
yeah.
oh like very competent 63-year-old. But
But I
I'd
argue you shouldn't lowball realtors. You should always highball a realtor and lowball the seller. What I mean by this is, as you know, basically do some dual agency. In the realtor's mind, they're getting the commission of a lifetime at 6%, and you're just lowballing the seller. And now the realtor does not care about the seller, they care about their commission like they always do. And you're not really ever lowballing a realtor.
Wait a
If a re-
sec. Wait a sec. Are you saying that I should offer the realtor their normal commission and then say, but hey, also make this offer separately, which is way below what you're asking?
Well, duh.
Oh shit. So he's saying, well, how do we make that work if it's a
It's
cash
called
deal? Because I'm not paying
cash
the
deal's
commission.
easy. Okay. Realtors don't care about the listing price. They care about what is commission in their mind. That is why when a realtor has a 2.5, they're never going to look at it. Or they get super offended. When I list my properties for 2.5 on both, when I used to 2.5 both sides, the realtors would just get offended. They'll call the listing agent and be angry. They don't even want to deal with it, but their client saw it on Zillow. And the thing that I'd like to do is outside of Florida, you have to be in a state that allows dual agency. The property is listed for $100,000. Realtors usually gets 3,000, right? Well, why don't you offer $60,000 and say, hey, you can be my buyer's agent, and then you get 6%.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're talking about I'm reluctant to call it this method, but I know that as the double dip method. The
I
the
don't care
Jerry
what you call it. I call it what it's legally known as.
He
Um,
calls it what it's legally known as. Well, Jerry Norton talks about that. When I first heard about that, it was known as the double dip strategy, where you just have the realtor represent you, and you can create a conflict of interest for them to accept your lowball offer. Like it's actually
it's
insane. This
legal
is,
in let's see. It's illegal in
I think it's legal in a couple states. Guys, this is so unethical to do. Like
no, okay, dual
it
agency is
works
illegal in
so well.
Alaska, Colorado, Florida, Kansas, Maryland, Texas, Vermont, and Wyoming. For most people, Florida and Texas. Outside there, you can do it. There's no conflict at doing that.
Dude,
Every
that's
state pretty
crazy.
And so that means the realtor's like, wait, I was gonna get 3% on 100 grand, but if I get 6% on 60 grand, which is sorry, let's do $60,000 at 6%. Their commission just went from 3 grand to 3,600. The
Dude,
realtor does not even care. They're like, wait, I'm gonna make more. And
the
then they go
realtor
Jordan Belford, call their client, Richard, I have an opportunity of a lifetime right here. This investor is going to buy it for $60,000. It's the best thing in the world. Guys, realtors, everyone think they're on this moral high ground. If you've done this enough, you know the realtor loves that offer.
dude. This is crazy, guys. If you're a realtor, you're all gonna I want you all to answer this question right now. Let's say you have a house for sale for $1 million. If you're a realtor, we have two scenarios. Would you rather A, I offer you 900, what do you think you'd make more with? You have a house for sale for $1 million. I come to you and I offer you 900,000. Let's do 850. I come to you and I lowball you. I say I'll give you $850,000, but I want you to represent me. And then you have another person who comes to you and says, I'll give you 10,000 over your asking price. $1,010,000. $1,010,000. What do you think you'd make more money with? My $850,000 offer as the realtor or the offer over the asking price, but another realtor brings it to you. So another realtor goes to you and they say, hey, I'm representing a buyer. The buyer wants to come in over list at $1,010,000. Or I come to the realtor and I say, hey, I want to give you 850,000, but will you represent me? Well, let's do the math. Let's do the math. Watch this. Somebody offers you 1 million, so the agent's commission comes out of the purchase price, right? So if somebody offers you $1,010,000, let's just put that into my calculator. So $1,010,000, what are you getting? We'll just use 1 million for round numbers because I'm too slow to actually figure out what that is. But if you use $1 million, guys, your commission on that's going to be times 0.03. You're getting $30,000 as commission, right? That's your seller side commission. But with my offer, what are you getting? Multiplied by 0.06, 51,000. Let's figure out how low it goes. Let's just figure out how low it goes because what would you rather get? An offer at your asking price, but another realtor brings you that offer as a realtor. Another realtor brings you that offer, so half the commission goes to that realtor. Or I come to you with a $600,000 offer. Let's find out. Let's find out. I offer you $400,000 below your asking price. As the realtor, if you represent me, you make more. Watch this. You get 6% of $600,000. The question I'm asking you is, would you rather have 6% of 600K or 3% of a million? Well, let's find out. 6% of 600K is $36,000, whereas 3% of $1 million is $30,000. So with an offer $400,000 below their asking price, the realtor is literally making more with my offer. That is the biggest conflict of interest I can imagine. That
This is
should
how the
not be
world
legal
works, man.
anywhere.
This is how the
That's
world
crazy.
works. I don't know if you've ever been to Mexico, but I've been pulled over in Mexico, and they look at you and they say 200 pesos. And I'm like, what did I do? Like 200. And they just want their money. They just grease them. And that is how 98% of the whole world operates, except for certain countries, pretty much Western Europe and the United States, Canada, and that's pretty much it. Like, that's how it works. And it is legal in pretty much every major state outside of Texas and Florida. So I don't do it in Florida. Outside of Florida, I do it all the time because I've said this so many times. But realtors, you can put whatever nice veil you want to put on them. They only care about their commission. That's when you talk to them about a subject too. The first, they might not say it because they're recorded. First thing goes to their mind is, how am I getting paid? How am
This
I
guy
getting money?
says, this guy says, dude, you'll offer the agent 6% commission. It's not my money. I'm not paying for it. It's the buyer's paying for it. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, the seller's paying for it. The seller's paying for it. Historically, the seller pays for it. So when I
But
when
we
I
can pay
offer
for
the
it now.
realtor, right, there's a new way of doing it, and
Grease them up at 12%. Dude, I don't care. I could offer 50th grand in that scenario and give them 15% commission. Who cares? It's business.
you
And
have to understand the realtor's commission comes out of the seller's proceeds historically. So if you
historically,
sell a house for $1 million, 6% comes out of the sales price. But guys, that 6% is to be split between two parties normally. 3% for the seller side, 3% for the buyer side, meaning that if you don't have a buyer's agent and you let the realtor represent you as the wholesaler, 6% goes to one party. So you can create this massive conflict of interest where your realtor makes more money by accepting your lower offer than if somebody offers them even over their asking price. And the reason is because they get the full 6%. So at the end of the day, the question is, would you rather have 6% of $600,000 or 3% of a million? 6% of 600,000 is more than 3% of a million. So it honestly should not be allowed anywhere, but that's one way that you can get a realtor to accept your lowball offer. Ask them to represent you, but honestly, I haven't even gotten into what I want to talk about today, which is actually how to do it. You can have them
talk about it.
represent you. It doesn't mean that they're not going to get offended by it. I mean, a
Well,
lot of
if they get extra
realtors
money, they'll be happy.
lowballing if you lowball a homeowner, you're
Mm.
just saying a number. They don't necessarily know it's a lowball. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But Zach, I should say, if you call somebody up and your first question is, so what are you looking to get out of the property? And they say $400,000. How are you working that individual down to $300,000 in an off-market scenario? No realtor. They want 400. You need it at 300. What are you saying to them?
Well, first and foremost, how do you come up with that number in your mind? I generally want to know. And sometimes they'll throw comps in you. Sometimes they'll throw all these things. Now, I've heard people tell me, Zach, you need to, if you have a seller and they have a crazy high price, you need to go educate the seller and tell them, no, you're wrong. You're stupid. These are the correct comps. I've seen people on YouTube talk about this. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I always come back to old school classic negotiating. This is the United States. This is capitalism. The price of something is what someone else is willing to give. I'm willing to give you this much for the house. Do you want to take it? Yes or no? That is it. I I ain't playing no games outside of that. Okay. We can go do this and that and all. And I always get asked, well, how do you come up with that? It's like, well, it's just an analysis on how much I think I can get for rent versus how much it's going to cost me. Simple. Like I don't really want to make this complicated. Well, if I buy this, I think I can get this much in rent. So I think the numbers work for me there. Anything else is like, well, this is how much flooring is. And you get in a whole talk about, well, this is how much it's going to cost me to put the tiki hut in the back. Like, I'm not here to get into the nitty gritty of the stuff. So, well, this is my price.
So you
Simple
don't
as that.
actually give them there's no reasoning behind why you're at that price. You're just giving them that price. You don't provide a reasoning. Or maybe it's a for numbers sake, you know.
Basically, it's what I think I get for rent, and there's just numbers, you know.
So
I don't
so
talk about.
you're not spending a lot of time on the phone with the individual. You're telling them your number and then you're moving on to the next one
I
because you
never
know
focus on
eventually.
the. I never focus on the house. I always focus on the problem. And when you focus on how much the house is worth, and you just focus back on the house, which goes against my golden rule, it's about the person, the motivation, and why they're selling it. You got to remember in the conversation, I always start off with like, just list the property with a realtor. If you want the most for it, just go with the realtor. Why is it? But here's the thing: if you wanted the most for it, you'd already be talking to a realtor. You want speed, convenience. You want to get rid of this thing for cash. Why aren't you
That's
doing it?
interesting. That's
If you want the
interesting.
most for your car, you want to go to the auto trade or whatever, right? Or what is it? They got the Carfax people. I don't know what these things are, right? But like you wouldn't be going there, right? You want to go to Carvana. You would go meet a guy at 6 a.m. behind a Starbucks. Now he's in your car. He's all greasy, and he's looking at your VIN, and he's just checking out the engine. And you got to meet him at 6 a.m. Now he's driving your car. He's asking you questions, and then you don't want to do that. You just want to get rid of the car. That's it. You don't go
Hmm.
meet a guy on OfferUp on your computer, right? How much RAM's in this? And then you meet a guy at a Starbucks for 2.5 hours because he's late trying to sell the Mac. You just wanted to get rid of it. Speed and
Yeah, it's
convenience.
I guess the speed thing is huge, you guys. You know, if I can get it done today versus, you know, how long am I going to sit on the market with a realtor? Yeah, the speed part is pretty big. They care a lot about getting their money now.
You got to
For
remember
me,
the most important part, Richard, because you're Mr. On Market. I don't think you don't deal with the bad houses. The United States is built off of flex culture. And a lot of people think it's like a new person thing. It's not. Here's the worst part. If I'm keeping up with the Joneses and I go to Mahjong every Tuesday with Sheila and the girls, do I want them to see that my house is a complete disgusting trash? Because I look perfect all the time. Do I want that on Zillow? Look, it's Sheila's properties on Zillow. I'm embarrassed of my house. I don't want to show people that. Has anybody had a friend where their house was just disgusting, like absolutely disgusting? I had a couple buddies like that. This is Florida, so what do you expect? But not good. I know Richard was in the nicer neighborhoods, but the couple of my buddies, it wasn't nice. And a lot of people just don't want publicly their address to be out there
huh?
and the pictures, and then they don't want the people to go through it, and they just want to get rid of it. Guys,
I
I ain't doing
never
wholesaling. I don't deal with nice houses.
I never thought about that. I deal with nice houses. I love to wholesale really nice houses. But yeah, I honestly never thought about that. Maybe you are embarrassed about what your house looks like. Maybe you don't want to put it out there because all your friends are going to finally see what the inside of the house looks like. I honestly I
Coworkers,
That has never once occurred to me ever. But I don't actually go deep into the psychology of off market and why somebody makes that decision because I don't really deal with off market. I've got like one or two off market deals right now, but they're not truly off market. When I say off market, I mean to say they were on market, the listing expired, and I just gave the seller a call right after the listing expired
hmm,
because the realtor was a dumbass. But I don't actually deal with off market. That's really interesting. I've never considered that before. Guys, I have such a simplistic bulletproof way to lowball realtors to the point where it never offends them. You know, I've kind of noticed recently my entire negotiation tactic is based off of saying yes to what they want me to do. I love to say yes to what they want me to do, and that's not going to make any sense, but um, I'll give you an example. You got a house for sale, and it's just for investors. You know, it's just an investment house. I call a lot of investment houses. And they're looking for $500,000 and the house rents out for, well, you know, in Portland where I live, a duplex is 500,000 in an average area and it rents out for like 1500 aside, so it brings in $3,000 a month. The thing is, if they're asking 500,000 on a duplex purely for investors, not something to house hack, just targeted towards investors. We are not talking about something you want to live in. But if it's listed for 500,000, I say, yeah, oh, let's do it. Yes, I love that idea. Let's give you 500,000. That sounds so good to me. Okay. Just walk me through the process because I'm a bit of a newer realtor. Or a newer investor. I play dumb actually. I say great. Let's do 500,000. I love 500,000. Okay, perfect. So I'm a new investor. Just walk me through this. Let me know if this is how it's supposed to go. Okay, so I buy for 500,000. I put down 20%, so I spend $100,000 on this duplex. And then my payment on the 400,000 that I now owe is about $3,000 per month. And then I rent it out for 3,000 and I just stay silent like that. I love 500 is great. That's such an awesome number. Thank you so much. I love $500,000. Okay, okay, let me just get this straight. So I buy for 500, I put $100,000 down, and then I rent it out for 3,000. And by the way, management company is going to be like 10%, right? And utilities and all the other expenses another 10%. So really my 3,000 is like 2,400. Okay, cool. So I Okay, I put down $100,000. Great. I own the property. I pay $3,000 per month and then I bring in 2,400. Is that kind of like the buyer that you guys are looking for? I love that question. It's just like embarrassing. It's literally embarrassing. You go up to him and you're like, "Okay, okay, I get it. Okay, 500,000 perfect. I put down 100. I pay 3,000 per month and then I bring in $2,400. So I'm spending 3,000 and I bring in $2,400. So I'm losing $600 a month and I spent $100,000 to buy the house. Is that kind of like the buyer that you're looking for on this one? I didn't negotiate with you. I didn't say anything. I said nothing. I said let's do it. I love that idea. Oh, okay, got it. So I put down 100,000 for the unique and special opportunity to lose $600 per month. Is that kind of like the buyer that you're looking for on this one? Bro, they will never say yes. They're always going to be like, "Oh, well, we actually might have some flexibility on that. We actually might have some flexibility." So, you know, in every scenario that I negotiate, just say, "Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah, let's do that." And then just walk through what happens if you actually do that. And they're like, "Oh shit, you're shooting yourself in the foot." And the crazy thing is, I just ran through a rental scenario. We're talking about how to lowball people. You can lowball people for rentals, but you could lowball people for fix and flip. It just depends on what the best use of the property is. If the property is a duplex and it's in turnkey condition, you are not going to flip that house. Okay, maybe you will, but for the most part, you're not going to flip that house. You're going to rent it out. If the property is a distressed house, I do the exact same thing, but with a little bit of a different explanation. So we'll do it. We should do a role play, Zach. We should do a role play. You'll be the realtor,
Favorite.
and we got a house listed for 250 and the ARV is 350, okay?
250. What's the 250?
The house is listed for 250 and the ARV is 350.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And you have you estimate 70K in rehab, okay?
All right.
Okay, guys, this is the exact same thing, but just rephrased for fix and flip. Because for the most part, guys, you're gonna be lowballing fix and flips. You're not going to be lowballing like I mean, you're gonna lowball everything. But this is how to lowball fix and flip. It is so powerful, guys. Ready? Watch this. And the point is not to offend them, not to create friction. I don't want to create any friction, but I also want to absolutely lowball the shit out of you. Here's how I'm gonna do it. What time is it? Okay, I still got a little bit of time left. Okay, hey, is this Zach?
Yep.
Hey, Zach, I'm calling you about your listing on Main Street. Did I catch you at an okay time?
Yeah.
I see you got it for 250, man, but it's been here for like 4 months. I honestly can't fathom it. Like 250 is an amazing price. The house is in a great location. The ARV is super high. Why has this thing been on market for so long? I mean, this is like a great deal.
We're just waiting for the perfect buyer, and it will sell soon.
Really? You haven't found somebody yet? I mean, this is like really prime like Flint, Michigan. This is like the best part of Flint, Michigan.
It is. It is. It is called the Paris of Eastern Michigan, actually. Flint. It's a beautiful
So
place. It's a great property. It will sell. I know it.
I've heard this area of Flint, Michigan be compared to the Las Vegas Strip. Do they call this the Flint Strip?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, dude, the ARV is really high in the Flint Strip, and I'm a flipper, so I'm really interested in buying this for the 250 that you guys are asking on the property.
What's the Flint, man?
Honestly, I've just had some questions about the renovation. What did you guys think? I mean, what was your client thinking for the rehab? How much would that cost them?
For the Flint flip, it'd be about 70,000.
Flint flip on the Flint Strip, about 70,000.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. So I think I like this deal, man. I buy it at $250,000, right? Your asking
Mhm.
price. And what do you think of the ARV was? What were you guys thinking for ARV?
300,000.
Okay, okay, 300,000. So I buy the house. I thought it was closer to the 350. We use 350. So, you got it
350.
listed for 250, ARV's 350. Okay, cool. So I buy the house for 250. I put in 70,000, but I get a hard money loan for my purchase price and the 70,000. So I've got $4,000 a month in premium. So I buy it for 250. I put in 70,000, but really my 70,000 is 100,000 with my hard money premiums for like 4 months of flipping this house. So really it's 100. I buy it for 250. Now I'm in it for 350 with my repairs. And then I sell the property also for 350 and I walk away with 320 after paying my realtors. So at 250 I'm kind of like, I mean, I don't know. Would you partner with me on this? Maybe it could be a good deal for both of us. We buy it 250, I fund that. We put in $100,000 into it with my hard money premiums, and then we sell for 350. Now we're in it for 350 and we're selling for 350 and we walk away with 320. What do you think? Would you be down to partner with me on that? I'm looking for some local expertise.
I'd
It's a
rather
good
just
flip, man.
outright
It's a
sell
good
it.
flip.
I'd
Maybe we
rather
could.
outright sell it.
No, we'll sell it. We'll sell it. But I'm saying you as the realtor, I'd love like I live out of town. Maybe you could manage the project for me.
Sure.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we'll partner on the flip together. We might lose $30,000, but you're down for that?
I don't want to lose any money. I just want to get my commission.
Well, dude, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I'll buy it, but I need some local expertise. Like I'd buy this at 250, but I'm wondering if like you as the realtor would be down to partner with me on this. So I'll tell you the
I
deal.
want to
I,
partner.
I
I'm a
think I
broke
think you
realtor.
might be down for it. I think you might be down. So I buy for 250. I think this is a good plan. I buy for 250. I put in 100 with my lending costs, and now we're in it for 350. And then I sell it for 350, and then I lose 20,000. Would you be like,
It's
what do
not.
you think? Is that
It's
an
not Flint.
investment? Would you make that investment?
It's not a Flint-tastic investment.
Shoot, it's not Flint-tastic.
No.
Okay, well, I have a question. Do you think your client would be willing to do a deal with us where the end buyer could profit? Or is he kind of looking for an end buyer that would like
They're
want to
trying.
spend?
Yeah, possibly.
Okay, so I mean, let's just run some numbers. Let's hypothetically say I buy it at 200. So I buy the house at 200. Now I'm in it for 300 with my hard money premiums and renovation costs. And then I sell it for 350. And then after selling it for 350, I walk away with $20,000 profit over a 4.5, 5 month fix and flip project. Is that kind of the buyer that you're looking for on this one?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're looking for a buyer to make like 20,000 over 5 months?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd say so. I'd say
How
so.
much do you think? Let me ask you this: how much do you think you'd want to make if you were flipping a house over 5 months? Like, what do you think? Maybe like 10, 15 a month while you're doing all that labor yourself?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Okay, so it's safe to say that if you're doing a 5 month fix and flip, you're probably looking to make 60K.
5 months. Yeah, I'd say 60,000.
Okay. You think your client would be willing to do a deal with us where the end buyer could profit on this? Because, I'll be honest, man, if I buy it at your asking price, I lose 20. If I buy it 50 below your asking price, I make 20. It's just not we're drastically far off from this to the point where I'd be shooting myself in the foot if I did this deal. I want to be a rent buyer, man, but I need it at a price where I can make money on this.
Okay. Okay. So you want to flip and Flint. I got the hint. Let's do it.
Guys, I started laughing. I started laughing during that example, but all I'm doing to lowball sellers is I'm saying yes to their price and then asking them if that's the buyer that they're looking for. I say
You're,
like, "Oh, so you're kind of looking for a buyer that would be like down to spend 100 to lose 20?" And then I just let them sit with that. And then if they continue, if they're like, "Yeah," I'm like, "Okay, cool. What if you and I partnered on it? Like, would you be willing to throw down on this deal with me?" And it's a terrible deal, so they're not willing to do the deal with me, but I just agree. I every single time I lowball somebody, I just agree. If it's a rental property, I say yes to their price, and then I run them through what it would cost me each month to own it, and then I'm asking them if they're looking for a buyer like that. And it's almost like sarcastic. It's like, dude, this is great. I love this. This is awesome. And then you run through the actual deal, and it's like you're losing $500 a month for a $100,000 investment and they don't even realize it. And I'm not mean about it. I'm just like, "Oh, okay, got it, got it." Is that kind of like the buyer profile that you're looking for? Like somebody who would be down to spend 100 to lose like spend 100,000 to like lose $500 per month? Is that kind of like who you're looking for on this?
You got to make
And
it
then
work, man.
their answer is always, "Oh, we might have some flexibility." And then they come way down on price.
All right, there we go.
They're not thinking about the buyer, guys. They're only thinking about their seller's money. Like they have no thought, not a single thought in their head about whether or not this is going to work for the buyer. So I literally just say yes to their number. I'm literally just like, "Oh yeah, perfect, perfect." I run through what would happen if I bought it at that price. And if they're really, really adamant about they are looking for a buyer who's willing to lose money on the sale, which is ridiculous, I ask them to partner on it with me. And they're like, "Oh no, I wouldn't partner." And I'm like, "Oh, but I'll pay for the entire thing. Why wouldn't you partner on this?" And it forces them to say, "Well, it's a bad deal." And I'm like, "Okay, there we go. So you knew all along it was a bad deal. Are you?" And then I don't say a number. We never say a number. I never, ever, ever say a number. Whoever says the number first loses. And then I say, "Would you be willing to do a deal with an end buyer where the end buyer is allowed to make money?" How do you say no to that? "No, I don't think so. We're not willing to do a deal with a buyer where they'll make money." Impossible. They can't say that, especially if it's a destroyed house. Here's the reason. You can't get a mortgage on a destroyed house and live in the property. So the only person you're selling to is somebody who's going to make money. If you're not willing to let the end buyer make money, you're not willing to sell your house because the only person who's going to buy this is somebody who does it for a living.
Hmm.
That's how I lowball. I just say yes, let's do it. And it's
I
a
like it.
terrible idea.
I don't think it's a bad idea. I mean, the cool part about that is most realtors are expecting only one way when dealing with an investor. And when you hit them in a way that they're not expecting, it usually that's how you can win. And I like it. They're not expecting it, and once you hit them, they don't know what to do.
Oh yeah, no, they're completely lost. Guys, just agree. Never say no. If you say no, it creates friction. And also, they won't understand why you're saying you're lowballing them. When you lowball them, they're gonna be like, "Why? Why have you lowballed me? Why have you done this? Why have you forsaken me?" It just doesn't make sense to them. Whereas if you say yes to their asking price and just run through what would happen, they're like, "Oh, oh." And then sometimes I don't even say the number at the end of the call. Sometimes I ask the realtor to go to their seller with that. Sometimes I ask the realtor to say, instead of going to your seller with a number because they're not going to understand either. It's the exact same as you. You're not going to understand, they're not going to understand. What if you just go through it with them and say, "What would happen if somebody flipped the house at this price?" Like this is what we got to understand, guys. We got to understand. Really distressed, terrible property. It is only available for flippers. There's no families who are going to buy those houses and like, "Oh, cool, let's do a fun project." No, it's 100K rehab. You are not doing that as a family. So these are only going to investors. So if somebody can't make money on this on the sale and it's not a profitable fix and flip, it'll sit and sit and sit and sit, and people will lowball, and the realtor will go to the client and say, "Hey, here's the number," and they'll say, "No, no, 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 no." But if you go to the client and you say, "Well, let's just run through the scenario. This is only marketed towards investors, right? This is only for investors. What happens if we buy it at this price?" Well, I buy it 250. I put in 70K of rehab, but my 70K, I get a loan for my 70K. That's how flippers work. They get a loan. And then now we're in it for 350 and we sell it for 350 and we lose 20,000 on the sale. And then I say, is that like the buyer you're looking for? And how can you say yes to that question? How can you say, "Yes, I'm looking for a buyer who's willing to lose $20,000 on the sale"? That's ridiculous. They will never say yes to that.
You're not wrong, man. I mean, the thing about off-market sellers is you can say no to them, and that's okay. It's just definitely a different art. But most realtors, you can never tell them they're wrong. The ego's there, and there's off-market people with ego. You just got to know the right time. It all comes down to lowballing is doing an analysis on your seller, right? Like Richard, you're not the type of person if you get presented some new information that you shake your head, say, "No, my old way of thinking is right, and I made up my mind." You're somebody who, if the facts present themselves, you could change your mind, but you have to have the facts. I'm the same way too. I know certain people that you just tell them something and that's their belief, and they'll never change that belief, even you show evidence that it's changed. Um, Not about like I'm just talking about like real estate in general. Like some people just can never accept the fact that real estate's going to go up in value. So I mean, oh, it's going to crash. Yeah, like, well, give me some facts why it's going to crash. I, I just think it's going to. It's been too high, and you just got to present people with facts, and then they'll change their tune on a lot of things. But realtors, you got to be very slow with them. But
That's
you
true.
got to know the type of seller you have.
I honestly think that's like, I don't know how else to lowball people. I mean, you can list the issues, you can say this and that,
Yeah,
and well, I have to be here because of this. I have to be here because of this. Or rather than listing the issues, agree and just run through what would happen. Why not?
well,
You're not offending anybody there, right? You're
yeah,
not you're not saying anything wrong. You just put them in the shoes of the buyer, like the investor. Well, this is what happens. This works for rental properties, this works for fix and flips. Every single time I'm negotiating, I never ever 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 say no. Well, if we're pushing back, if I'm pushing back and I'm using that as a strategy, I might say, "Sounds like we might not be a good fit for you at this time." But honestly, it's the path of least resistance. Nobody's going to be mad when you just say, "Yeah, let's do the number." And then you say, is that kind of like the buyer that you're looking for on this one? That is really an embarrassing question to ask.
yeah.
Like that is drastically embarrassing. You cannot say no. Yeah, we are looking for a buyer to lose 20. Oh, really? Yeah. We really want the buyer to lose $20,000 on the sale. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, maybe you'd be willing to partner with me on it. I'll tell you what. I'll bring all of the funds to the table and you just advise me, okay? And we'll just partner on this. Would you be down for that? Oh, you wouldn't? Why not? Or I always like to ask this question too. Is that just sort of the nature of fix and flip? Is that just sort of how it goes? Is that like how all houses get renovated? You're just playing dumb. Like, oh, you lose $20,000? And then you say, oh, is that just sort of like how the business goes? Like, I'm sorry, I'm a newer investor. I don't know too much about it. Is that just sort of how it goes? Like, maybe you've done some projects before. Is that just kind of how they panned out? Got it. Perfect. No, it makes a lot of sense to me. And then if we actually do get some logic from the realtor or some thought processes happening from the realtor, I don't actually go to them with a number because they've already brought it. I may have this amazing approach to the realtor, and the realtor may really, really, really like the approach that I do, but they're still going to go to their seller with a number, just a number. It doesn't matter how I approach them, just a number. So I don't go to the realtor with a number. I go to the realtor with, please walk your client through what would happen if we buy at this price. Just do the same thing I did to you, right? You're going to go to them and say, hey, we've got a buyer. He wants to buy at 250. He puts in 70K, and then he loses 20K. Just wait. Just wait. They will lower their own price. That's all. That's all. Hey, I got another
Okay.
meeting. I gotta jump onto a meeting right now. So I gotta kind of abruptly end the stream. I
All
I
right.
guess one of my buyers wants to meet me or something like that. I don't know what this is.
All right.
Anyways, if we got any tech people in the audience who know how to get TikTok on a new phone, I got a new phone this weekend, and you know what? I can't get TikTok on it, which is okay because I have TikTok on my old phone, but DM me if you know the solution to that. I used a VPN. I changed my location to Canada. I did it in the App Store. I did it in location services. I did all of that. Didn't work.
Let me show you this really quick, Richard. This is the active listings in the United States for the past since ever I started wholesaling. If you look at the chart here, this is when I started wholesaling, 1.4. We're at such a low peak. I think we're about to hit another like large trough. You got to think about the amount of on-market properties you're doing. If we go back to this level, you're probably going to have 40% more deals you can possibly do because the amount of deals that you do your deals on, it's pretty small in comparison to what it used to be. Like, can you imagine right now there's actively 829,000 listings. And when I started wholesaling, the peak used to be 1.3. That would have been 500,000 more listings on the market that you could make more offers on that hit your criteria. So I think for like your audience and stuff, if listings keep going up in inventory, you have a lot more opportunities for your creative on market. Though that's the only thing I've seen post COVID is there's just such less inventory than what was before. And I think if there's more listings, there's definitely more opportunities for you to do on market. And it could be another good opportunity for wholesaling. Even like before 2016, the thing used to be crazier high. Um,
Hmm.
So once we can, but interest rates are keeping it low. If we can solve affordability, I think the MLS could get way bigger and be pretty good.
Hmm. Well, guys, I mean, I like houses that sit on market for ages. So if we got more listings, that means more houses sitting on market for
Yeah.
ages, and then I can call those people up and offer them more than they're looking to get. Hey, I gotta head to a meeting, guys. So
All right.
I'll catch y'all on the next one. TikTok. This was not my live stream for today. This is my podcast with Zach Ginn. So yeah, we're gonna head out, but I'll be live on TikTok at 1:30 p.m. PST. So in about an hour, I'll go live again. Join at that time. That'll be the live stream on Discord. That'll last like 3-4 hours, and we'll see you there. I got to meet with some buyers right now who are
There we
looking to
go.
pick up a
Good
lot of
luck.
our deals. So TikTok, I'll catch you on the next one. All right.